What's going on in the insurance world today? Are you properly covered? I have Jeff Ehrhardt from the Ehrhardt Agency of State Farm here with me today. Jeff, thanks for coming by, man.
So awesome to be here. We did this before a while back, and
It's been a while.
you got a studio now. You got a crew.
I got gray hair.
You got gray hair.
It's good to see you, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's kind of dive into it right away. How long have you been in the business, and what's the biggest thing you've learned over that time period?
I've been in the business myself for about 12 years. For 2 years, I worked for somebody else. And then for the last about 10, January is going to be my 10-year anniversary.
Congrats, man.
Thank you. I've been open. And I think the biggest thing that I've learned is there's a difference between probability and consequences. The probability of someone being in a total loss accident in their car is not very high while they're driving down the road to work or something like that.
Okay.
But the consequences of that are pretty severe. The probability of someone passing away before retirement, whether it's due to an accident or illness or whatever the case may be, is really not that high. But the significance of that, the consequences of that are pretty dramatic. So I think that's what I've learned the most about the role that we play in people's lives, is helping them understand that while some of these things are very unlikely, if you haven't taken the steps to protect yourself, your family, your business, the consequences could be pretty severe.
Absolutely. So where would you say you see the industry going?
Good question. So for one, technology, just like with anything, has had a huge impact.
AI?
Yeah, I mean, windshields, used to cost like $200 or $300, and now there's ones for like $1,500.
Yeah.
And depending on the brand of car that you buy, if they have a special sticker that goes with it, that sticker alone may cost like another $500 on the windshield. It's pretty wild. You just think about all the sensors that are on cars now. A bumper, if there was a fender bender, that used to be, well, maybe I'm not going to turn this one in, get an estimate and I'll write you a check.
But now you got cameras all over the bumper.
You got cameras everywhere. You got backup cameras. So the technology and the things that are designed to provide safety are actually really increasing the cost of car insurance, because cars just cost more now.
Right.
A $30,000 vehicle, there's just not as many of those as there were, maybe 10 years ago when I started.
Sure.
Compared to how much a car costs now. I mean, just think about what you and I have probably paid on cars.
Yeah.
Since we started.
Almost as much as my first house.
Right. Since we started buying them. And unlike your house, the cars are moving around with other cars. And so anyway, all these technology features, which you would think would lower the likelihood of things happening, lower the chances of an accident, when there is one, the price tag is just way higher than what it used to be.
But don't you think they do reduce the risk?
100%. So the accidents are not as frequent.
Yes.
But the cost of them is much more severe. So there may not be as many people running into each other on 270 as there once was, but the cost when that happens, and again, insurance is just a shared pool of money, between an insurer and its customer base, is so much more when something like that happens. So yes, cars are safer, but when things do happen, the bill from the accident is just way more. Same with medical care.
Yeah.
Same with really anything else.
Gotcha.
So that's one thing that's quite a bit different, is just the cost of it is a lot more.
Gotcha.
I think the other thing is information is readily available. Should I have full coverage or should I have liability insurance? Should I have an umbrella or should I not?
Right.
Should I insure my ring or shouldn't I? How much should I insure my house for? Should I buy term insurance or whole life, or whatever the case may be? There's information, way more readily available about this stuff than what there used to be. But making sense of what to do with that information is really the important thing now. It's not it's not a matter of figuring out what products are out there. It's which one should I actually own for myself, and what's the reasons that I should own those. So to me, I think that's a lot different, as there's just a lot more choices.
Gotcha. What would you say that you see homeowners that you interact with these days? What's going on there?
Yeah, so on my end, we're usually...
There was, real quick, there was a huge storm last week out in Wentzville.
Yeah.
And I called a lot of my customers out there to make sure they were okay, and see if they needed a roofer, siding contractors, stuff like that. So I just kind of wanted to get with you and understand what they should be doing when a storm happens like that. what do they do?
Yeah, good question. So most people have not actually been in a situation where they've made a claim before. Some people have, but again, the vast majority of people are not really sure what to do. So it's pretty common practice that if you were in the business of selling roofing, siding, and guttering, that you would know when and where those storms are.
Yes.
No offense to how anybody makes a living, but there's a difference between this is an insurance claim that my homeowners will pay for, and this is a maintenance thing that I have to deal with.
Okay.
So as an example, if you're driving down the road in your car and it just craps out and stops and you got to pull over because the engine fails,
Yeah.
you probably wouldn't think that, man, I got to make a claim and total my car.
Right.
Your first reaction would probably be, I wonder, what is it, an engine? Can I replace it? Or have I owned this car for 10 or 12 years and it's just is at the end of its life? So one of the things that's important is figuring out, is my roof damaged by sudden and incidental physical loss?
Okay.
Hail, a tree fell on it, things of that nature.
Wind. Yeah.
Or, shingles. I go outside and there's shingles all over my yard. Like that happened suddenly and quickly. That's a problem. That's different than, I bought this house 20 years ago. I haven't bought a roof yet. My roof is just really old. And so I think consumers need to help either work with their insurance agent or roofer or whoever to figure out, is this problem sudden and incidental as a result of a storm, or is this something that's happened over a long period of time?
So if the storm comes through, who do you want your insurees to call first? Do they call you first? Do they call a contractor? That's kind of what I was getting questioned on.
Yeah, great question. We just for my office, we would prefer that all of our customers call us first.
Okay.
So that we can help walk them through the process.
Okay.
Ultimately, that's why they've hired us. Yes, they bought house and car insurance from us and they got to buy it from somebody, but really they're hiring us to help them walk through that process and figure out, what should I do next? So you can use whoever your roofer is, if it was the best man in your wedding or whoever the case may be, that's perfectly fine with us. But we want to help you determine, should I file a claim because of the damage or should I not?
Gotcha.
And the reason that makes a difference is because insurers, what they want to know is the people that we're doing business with, what is the likelihood of them filing a claim in the future? And an insurance company, as crazy as it sounds, would rather have one person who filed one claim over a 10-year period of time for $50,000 than that same period of time, 10 years, one person filing 3 claims for $1,500.
And why is that?
Because again, the insurer wants to know, what is the likelihood of them making a claim in the future? You can't control if a tornado comes through town.
Sure.
That has nothing to do with that. So when that does happen, at least with us, that doesn't count against you if there's a hailstorm or a tornado or so forth. But the point is, if you file a lot of claims and nothing gets paid out, you're still filing, for a claim. So think about like a driving record. If you get pulled over and you have a speeding ticket, like not that big of a deal.
Right.
But if you were to get pulled over for speeding and you also had 5 or 6 prior incidents that pop up on your MVR, that interaction might go a little bit differently.
Sure.
And so again, if you think about that same concept as it relates to your house, if the hailstorm comes through yesterday and there's no water that's pouring into your roof today, you don't have like a 24-hour period where it's like, I got to get my claim filed or else I'm missing out. You have 2 years from the date of the loss that it happens to get the information and then decide how to proceed.
Gotcha.
So I think the main thing people should do is, unless I can like see a gaping hole in my roof or like water's coming in, we don't necessarily need to hit the panic button and like go online and file a claim real quick.
Okay.
Let's figure out, is there enough damage? Is it worth filing a claim? How does that compare to my deductible? Will I lose some discounts? So as an example, let's say on your house, you have $300 worth of discounts.
Yeah.
And you need to get some new gutters, which is going to cost $1,500 or something like that. Well, when you compare what your discount is to your deductible to the total, then that may not be worth doing.
Right.
So what we want is to empower people to make decisions for themselves. Here's all the facts as it relates to you guys. Think about it, decide what you want to do, let us know, and we'll go from there, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, man. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming in today, sharing your knowledge with our audience. Appreciate it big time. Great to see you, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. A ton of fun.
Absolutely.
Hope to do it soon.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
See ya.
See you, Jeff.